I'm still at the beach.
You're in the Dominican Republic?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Had to catch a quick flight out of the office.
Oh, nice. Nice. Must be on some kind of super jet.
Thanks to Team Davos.
Davos. The Davos private jet. That's coming.
That'd be pretty cool.
Right. There's people trickling in here.
Progress.
Are we on the 26th? What do we got? It's how many more days we got left in the month?
5.
5. Okay. You guys might hit the stake thing this month, but we gotta make some things happen. We'll talk about that in a minute.
How many we have?
I was gonna talk about that, but per Sky Slope, unless some of you guys aren't on the ball, and I double checked Annie's. So I look at when I go into Sky Slope, I can see acceptance date. Acceptance date should be the date the contract was executed. Okay, so pretty much all your deals were correct. One for Annie's was labeled as 9/30 as an acceptance date, but that was the date I think she sent the contract out, not when it got accepted. So I actually did it get accepted in October, October 2nd. So you got 8. Okay, you got 8. That means you need 3 in the next 5 days. Unless, like I said, some of you guys are holding out on Sky Slope, which you shouldn't be doing because it's keeping you from the state.
So I have a listing that I haven't put in Sky Slope yet. I haven't sent it over to Lily.
I text you about that. No, it has to be pending.
Has to be okay. I didn't understand what you meant by
Okay,
that.
so it does have to be pending.
Huh?
Yo, when's that shit going live tonight?
Oh.
Yeah, put that shit live tonight so you can make that pending.
Honestly, she's debating. She's coming back to Florida today, so
Tell her we have a contest, okay? And she cannot debate any longer.
I'll do it too.
Tell her she's keeping you from state.
I will. She's the one who made me dinner.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
See? I bet you she'll do it if you just tell, hey, listen, here's the deal. I got to be honest with you. We're trying to win this contest, and I don't want to wait anymore because I've got 5 days to get it pending. I think I could sell your house in 3. Okay, so let's put it on the fucking market.
I'm gonna call her after our meeting.
All right. I think this is the first meeting you've had, right, Kendra? Or were you on that last time? I forget. Well, you're on mute, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, I'm sorry. Yes, I was on it last time.
Okay, go. Good stuff. Well, let's get Viviana's coming in. All right. Let's get started. As always, we start with blessings. I feel like we're gonna have some really good ones today. And once again, it doesn't have to be all based. So for those of you who are new to blessings, okay, blessings are just things you're grateful for, right? And it doesn't have to be a deal related thing. It doesn't have to be whatever team related. It could be anything. Just grateful for something in your life, something that's happened this week. It could be super small, super big. So, get after it. Who starts? Lexi?
Yes. So my son had surgery this morning, and all is well. So I'm super blessed about that. And I'm super blessed for the relationships that I'm starting. And for example, Amanda Douglas, we went on a lunch at the London House yesterday, and I'm super inspired and blessed to even just build a connection with her. So that's my blessing for the week.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You got to surround yourself around the kind of people you want to rise to. We're building big businesses and get around the right people. and it's never a bad time at the London House. So that's awesome. And you've been wanting to go too. That's you. You finally got there. You finally made it to the London House. All right. Did you get the tour?
The only thing is, though, I got a tour. But the only thing is that Amanda doesn't eat a lot. I don't know, So well, she didn't eat a lot in front of me, right? So I'm just trying to I'm not trying to finish my plate, right? Because I don't want to seem like I'm. So, because the food was great.
Yeah, no, you go ahead and act up. All right, you have my permission. Go in there and act up. Don't worry about that. Did you see all the bathrooms?
Did I? You didn't see? I said my favorite was the closet one, and like the shoes and the bags, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah, they got some cool ass bathrooms. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's a great start. All right, who's got blessings on blessings?
I'll go. So my birthday was Thursday, and
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I finally was like, you know what? I want to do like a getaway because I never do something like this. So I booked a trip to Blue Ridge. I've never been to the mountains. It was like a really, really good experience. It was like a small group, but it was absolutely amazing. We went horseback riding, which I was scared shitless because like the horses, their trail is so close to like, I literally thought I was going to like
the edge of the mountain.
Yeah, that's where they like to go up the mountain, and I thought I was gonna like fall over, but it was a really cool experience with everybody that I went. But I guess my biggest blessing is that I had the opportunity to do something, because I'm 30 and I don't ever have like the funds to do anything like that, because it can kind of be costly sometimes. And then the time I have to request time off, and it wasn't like, hey, Bobby, can I get these 4 days off, like to go on vacation for my 30th birthday? So it's like really awesome that I was able to get into a business that I'm in and have the opportunities. We're already planning our next one. So wow. It's a blessing to be able to have all of that.
That's awesome. That is actually a fantastic blessing. I got to give it to you. And sometimes, it's the little things you notice about the business. I mean, this is my second go around in the business. And one thing that I realized after the first go around is this is one of the very rare businesses where you can control your time and control your destiny. And it's just, most businesses own your time. You work for somebody, they own you, and here you actually get to do it. Now, it doesn't mean we work less. No, because we're hustlers, right? We just have different hours, right? But we choose the hours, which is just being able to choose the hours in itself is a power, right? Because it does actually allow you to do other things. And for those, have kids and things like that, and be able to say, hey, you know what? This pocket's for my kids. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to go ask, like you said, you don't have to ask Bob if, you gotta, you want to spend all day with your kid because it's your kid's birthday. Like, it's kid's birthday. Like, go spend it, So that's freaking awesome. So great blessings. Great, man. You guys, whoever's coming next, man, you guys better come with it, because these two are coming strong. I know Jason Noseworthy, happy birthday, brother. I thought it was amazing. I thought I had I had already witnessed. I felt like there was 5 clusters of birthdays all at once, and then yours kind of slipped through a little bit.
Mine was on Friday, so I thought we had the same birthday because I saw the text coming in through Friday.
Wait,
so mine's the
22nd on Thursday or Friday?
Friday.
Oh yeah, it was Friday. Could you tell I was a little too drunk to remember what day it was?
Yeah, no. So another year. My wife surprised me. Had all my closest friends on Saturday meet up and surprised me over at Henry's Depot in Sanford.
Oh, nice.
Cool. And then I got to see a friend of mine yesterday that I hadn't seen in probably 5 years. So it was it's always good to catch up with old friends, especially when they're on the other side of the country. And only getting further, he's in the Navy and headed to Hawaii. And over the next month. So it'll be a good reason to try and go visit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Plan that next vacation.
Birthday weekend has been great.
That's fantastic, man. And you said Henry's Depot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put in since I don't know if you guys know this. Let's go ahead and make the announcement. Annie Goncal, am I saying that Goncal?
It's Gonsalves, but it's okay. Yeah, no.
Annie G is going to be the new cultural director, the social director for the Davos team. So she will be in charge of planning our socials and telling us where they are. Now, because he said Henry's Depot, I know Sanford might be far for some of you guys, but Sanford has some really cool shit. And Henry's Depot is one of them. They've got a brewery called Celery City Brewery, and they got a place called Tuffy's. And Tuffy's is a cool one, but I'd like to put in a vote for that Henry's Depot. That's a really, really cool spot. Great bar.
Can we at least like maybe once every other month do something like an activity, fun, bowling or something?
That kind of thing. You're gonna have to talk with Annie G. She is the new social director of the Davos team. So you go ahead, make all your requests to Annie G, and she's gonna handle that for us.
I like that you came up with like a whole name for this position.
Yeah.
That you like
you impressed me, and I felt like you needed to be promoted to social director, and you have, and I like your passion for going out and getting drinks. I really do. That I share that passion. Like Alexis, she always looks at me like I'm in trouble all the time. Like we went to this event on last Thursday at the Expansion Hub, and she's always looking at me like I'm one of her kids. Like, yeah, you're gonna be all right. Like, no, I'm like, I drink like this all the time. So don't worry about me, Alexis. It's fine. But that's why you got that position. All right. Blessings. Let's get a few more in here.
I got one.
Def.
Keeping my miles that I'm running somewhere around 8:45 to 9 minutes because I got a basketball tournament coming up.
Yeah. But yeah, we need to get a little practice in on that one.
So I've been preparing for that. And then I'm still working on trying to get a third pending this month. I have 2 pending right now, trying to get a third, but I did pick up 2 people who applied for pre-approvals last week. And I did pick up 2 new buyers appointments this week.
Oh, that's sick.
So this might be a month of 2s.
So who's your closest to convert? Because you need 3 in 5 days. Okay, we got a lot of people on this call. Like, one person gets one, another person gets one. So are you close with anybody that you're just like?
Both the pre-approvals are out of state, so they would definitely someone needs to make their first trip here. Someone needs to make their second trip here. So 5 days, they're approved.
I need somebody else.
Yeah, those are my farthest pre-approved and could make a decision, but in 5 days from New York and from wherever else.
Yeah,
both from New York.
All right, we're gonna have to get on the hustle in the next 5 days because everybody's gonna have to get one. So what else? What other blessings you got? Give me one more. You, Devin, what you got? Give me another blessing.
Me? Yeah. Probably just urgency. I really feel it now since Gil said last week, 10 weeks till the end of the year. We're now at 9 weeks. I've actually been shooting that text out that he recommended. Hey, just to reconnect with people. Hey, there's 9 weeks left in the year. I'm just curious, what are your big goals? I've had 3-4 people reach out to me. And it's really worked. One girl called me cute for saying that text.
Cute. Hey man, you still got it. So one thing I want to mention, guys, and this is just a good point, guys, the conversation you need to start having now with your buyers. So let's put a couple plans in place to get these 3 pendings in the next 5 days. One of these plans is the fact that this is actually the best time to look for a house. Okay. It truly is. This is that time of the year where things are slowing down a bit. We're almost to November. People already planning things. They're already planning Halloween parties. They're going shopping for Thanksgiving. They're preparing. They're starting. So guess what? That means it's tougher to sell a home in this portion of the time, but it's fine if you price it right? But for buyers now, you're not in that competitive season. So this is where you can actually pick up a great deal. This is where you don't have to compete against 10 other offers and go in there. So anybody who's been on the fence, just say, did you know about like the last quarter of the magic of the last quarter of the year is that this is where buyers get the advantage, right? This is buyer advantage season. Okay. Because sellers who waited after the summer to put their house on the market. Now I'm talking to you guys on the phone all the time. My first question is always, how long has it been on the market? Especially when they start trying to bully you guys around. I'm like, how long have they been on the market? Okay, cool. 26 days. That might as well be 90 days if it was this summer. So don't come to me with this bullshit that you got 10 other offers and you got to make me do whatever, right? But so it's getting harder for sellers, but for buyers, now we're getting the leverage back on our side. Now you're going to start seeing you being able to actually negotiate for some closing costs. Remember where you wouldn't even think about it, or you were just thinking about how much do I pay over appraisal value? Like, you don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore. I mean, obviously, if it's the most amazing house and your buyers have to get it and you are in competition, yes. But this whole thing about not being able to ask for closing costs or anything like that, that's just changed. Like, now you have some leverage to get your buyers some stuff and say, look, I'm getting a little bit more leverage right now, and I can help you get some closing costs. I can help you get some stuff that we wouldn't have gotten over the summer. So while everybody else is preparing for, all these other buyers are preparing for Christmas, we're going to swoop in and grab a deal. Okay. So that's the way you're going to start getting some people off of the fence. So,
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question for you, and
Yep.
I'm maybe it could be some for us to learn, or if somebody knows, then, but I don't know. So Tia posted that she was able to secure her, I think, sellers $40,000 above list price, along with $15,000 over appraisal, right? And so when I read that, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so if you listed the house for 320,000, and that means they offered 340 and then $15,000 above appraisal, but the house could appraise for 300,000 and then they're still getting that 15,000, right? But is that kind of like, is that a marketing strategy so that it shows she was able to get a purchase, an offer above the purchase price?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, she's marketing to the world that, she actually got more money than the seller even wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So,
and then it could, because at the end of the day, what they offer doesn't always necessarily mean anything, because we have to go through the appraisal, and then if they're going to offer something above the appraisal, right?
correct. So let's just take a regular situation here. So let's keep the numbers easy. So let's say, the house is 300 even. Your people, offer 320. Okay. And, they win the offer. Then the appraisal comes in at 290,000. Okay.
Mhm.
So now you're $30,000 under what you offered. Now, without any other clauses or addendums, you have an out, as long as you're within a 30-day financing contingency, which includes appraisal. Okay. So if you read the purchase contract in the financing contingency section, it says if it doesn't appraise, the lender can't lend you what it said it was going to lend you. Right. And so we can cancel this deal. So if you're within 30 days, we can cancel the deal. But what people usually do is they go through a negotiation process. Okay, so this came in at 290. Okay, the seller will say something like, I want to meet in the middle. And then your buyer has to decide, well, number one, do they even have the money to meet him in the middle? Because anything over 290 is coming out of their pocket. The lender cannot finance them over the 290 amount that it appraised for. They just won't. They're not going to take that risk. That's why banks get appraisals. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they're not going to do it. So that $30,000 gap has to be made up in cash or not made up at all, right? So then at that point, they say, okay, let's meet in the middle. Can you give me $15,000 above appraised value? If the buyer has it and wants to do it, they'll do it. If not, they'll either renegotiate or say, hey, can't do it, right?
So
they might say,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I understand that part. I think what it is that I'm not understanding, right? I guess this is a marketing strategy, right? Because at the end of the day, that $40,000 above asking price, it can be something totally different. And then all her followers are not going to know what the house closed for. So it shows that, I was able, as an agent, I'm able to do that. So I could do that for you too, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
So
I'm a great marketer.
Okay.
That's exactly what you're doing. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So you went over and above, you over delivered, even if the appraisal came out lower, still, let's say okay, so they offered $40,000 over, but then the appraisal didn't come, but then they agreed to pay $15,000 over the appraised value. You still paid $15,000 what a licensed appraiser said. And that's fucking awesome, right? So,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
that's still happening, but it's going to happen with a hot property. You know, regular properties aren't going to be selling like that anymore. Like you got to have a sexy ass property to get that kind of offer in this last quarter. And that's why I'm saying everybody else who's been on the fence, who's in a normal, you know, price range or whatever the case may be, or even if they're not, you know, they're going to be able to get more of a deal. So
yeah, but as a seller, if I see that on Facebook, I'm going to be like, oh, I need to hit her up, because not only did she, you know, get $15,000 above appraised value, but she, you know, the purchase price was 340. So, okay, I understand that now.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep. And I don't want to cut blessings short, because I know I feel like I got to go to Brandon here real quick, because I mean I know you had some good blessings last week, so you know.
Yeah. So I did have a double closing. Finally closed on that damn deal. Oh my God, but it's finally over. Double closing at Celebration. It was great. So two very happy people, and then personally, fitness is getting to a point where I think I'm actually going to try to qualify for the Boston Marathon next year. So I'll be racing the Celebration Marathon in February with the hope of getting a Boston qualifier time.
Oh my gosh, that's freaking awesome. Has this rise been to the coaching that you've been getting?
Yeah. My coach has been, I mean, he killed me today, this morning. I'm dying. Yeah, it's been a lot, man. I signed up for this Cosmo race. Literally, it'll be a year to the day on race day. It's been 7 months of 6 days a week, coached, you know, get my ass kicked. This week culminates like the training. So this week's like my last big weekend. I have a 110-mile bike ride on Saturday, and then like a 20-mile run on Sunday.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
My God.
But yeah, I mean, my fitness has been just, you know, significant improvements. I don't drown in the water quite as much unless my coach wants me to drown. So yeah, just interesting. You know, we got a couple more, you know, like race prep things. We'll be just doing an open water swim out in Cocoa Beach just to get, you know, ocean swim under the belt before race day. But my running's been so much faster that it's just, if I'm ever going to qualify for Boston, I might as well try while I'm in this shape.
So the Celebration Marathon is actually in Celebration?
Yeah, Celebration Marathon's in Celebration. Little known fact, it's like the highest. So if you guys don't know, Boston Marathon is like the most prestigious marathon in the world. It's the hardest marathon to get into. So there's 6 major marathons, Boston being one of them, but Boston's the only one that doesn't. There's no lottery system. In order to run the Boston Marathon, you have to be a freak athlete and stupid fast, or you have to raise a bunch of money for charity. There's the only 2 ways to get into it. At my age, I'd have to run a 2 hour and 50-minute marathon, which is a 6-minute and 40-second mile pace for 26 miles.
Holy shit.
So it's the elite, right? So,
hey, social director, Annie, what's the date of the Celebration Marathon?
It's the first weekend in February.
First weekend of February.
Wait, I'll get it for you. Give me a second.
Yeah, that's good. That has to be a Davos event that we got to put on the calendar there. So
actually it's the 29th of January. So it's the last weekend of January.
29th of January. Okay, we're doing
But
that.
so you have to run a Boston qualifying marathon to get your time. Most of them are nowadays because they're sanctioned and accredited, but Celebration is like legit the fastest marathon in the nation. So it has the highest percentage of Boston qualifiers at it.
Oh, okay. So you have your best shot at
luckily
qualifying
I have it
at
there.
the Celebration one.
Correct.
That's sick. Okay. I didn't know that. That is a little known fact.
I'll be paying somebody to pace me the whole time.
Wow. It ain't gonna be me, brother.
I was hoping my coach was, but my coach actually got hit by a car on his bike the other day.
Oh, shit.
He's like out of commission right now. My biking has been, there's been like a hot streak. So the triathlon community in the west side of town is a really close-knit community, but we've had 4 people get hit by a car in the last 2 weeks. It's been bad.
That's crazy.
So all the rest of my training will be, there's a nice, trail up in Deltona, Sanford area, Green Springs Park. So I've been doing my long rides out there to avoid cars because the last thing I need is a car to hit me,
Yes.
this race day.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
nice, dude. Nice, dude. Awesome week. I'm excited for you. So let's get it popping. So I'm going to give it to Zach real quick because we want to talk first. There's a lot of, I'm going to talk a lot about some of the events that I want to make sure you guys know about. Zach, can you, if you're there, can we talk a little bit about call night, National Call Night? Maybe. Okay, he'll get back on. He's going to put the link on, I believe that is next Tuesday. So if that is the case, I want that to be the meeting per se. I want it to be call night next Tuesday, but I will.
Yeah, it is next Tuesday.
It's next Tuesday?
Yeah, 5:30 to 8.
Okay, do you have a link to sign up for that?
It's in my calendar. I'll look for the link and I'll send it.
Yeah, put it in the messenger group. I actually want you guys to sign up like right now. So Zach's gonna put it in the chat in a minute.
Oh, he is? Okay.
I'm sure, yeah.
I think I already signed up. It automatically, we just had to like confirm that we were going.
Okay.
We got an email.
I already did it.
Okay, so on this call, all right, so for those of you who haven't been to Commissions Inc. University, okay, so let's talk about that. So I know Kendra hasn't been, I know Kevin, you have not been, Robert, you have not been. Is there anybody else I'm missing that has not been to Sync University? Brandon, you went? You haven't gone, right? Okay, so this is the one in Atlanta. The next one is December 7th through the 9th. So you would be flying in December 8th, leaving out the 10th. That way you have 3 solid days there. You don't have to rush out the last day. Okay, so you're planning for, December 8th through the 10th and flying back to 10th. I need to know who's committed because I need to buy tickets. So the way it works is I'll pay for your hotel. I'm going to pay for your tickets. You just have to find your way there. Right. So whether that's airplane or whatever the case may be, every person that's gone to it, it's been transformative for them. And it's just something that we just want to keep up and we don't want to let up. And especially when we get, new folks in. So, shoot me an email or shoot me a text rather, and let me know, if you're committed to going to that, because I got to buy you guys some tickets and book your hotels and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to book anything unless I know you guys are definitely going to do that. And is anybody definitely down to do that? Know that they can do that during that time?
I'm going. I'm done.
Is that you, Rob? Or Kevin?
Me.
Okay, cool. I didn't see
that was Kevin. I'm down too, though. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, slow down. All right. So you definitely got used 3. And there's a couple other folks that I'll talk to as far as that. Okay, cool. So write that down. All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the deals that you guys have been working, because I want to make sure that, when you guys run into roadblocks, that you're just not accepting the roadblock. You know what I mean? Because sometimes what I hear from you guys is, you guys will say, and not saying anything with anybody's particular deal, but I'm always concerned that we're accepting whatever shit answer we get as the final answer and not asking, 3 to 5 more questions that might actually find you a solution to that problem. Right. And you only learn through asking more questions. So like, I was thinking, I think it was you, Victoria, that were talking to me about, you asked me about the guy that said, we accepted another offer on principle, like based on what they said or whatever the case may be. And, to me, that's not a no. That means nothing signed, right? Like, that's what that means to me. So like, I want to make sure that that's what it means to you. Like when somebody says to me, hey, the sellers have offered, have accepted another offer based on principle. What that translates to is that there's a verbal offer, but there's nothing signed. So the next step is call that agent. Hey, just wanted to give you a call. I know you guys accepted another offer on principle out of curiosity. Can you tell me what was so special about that offer versus our offer? Because I know even if something happens with this deal, I'd love to come in with a deal that the seller would like. Like I want to make sure I put in a winning offer, or maybe more aggressive. It's like, what's going to take to win? Is there any chance that I could put a better offer in and win this offer? If so, what would that offer be?
What if you don't want to share? Like, what if they're like, I can't, I've had someone tell me they're like, I can't share that information with you.
That's fine.
Yeah, just last week I had a lady tell me she wrote, and you're very aware that ethically I cannot share that information.
Yeah, and that's fine, but I don't mean I can't ask. Have you ever talked to somebody who didn't give you shit for information, and you talk to the next person and then they opened up like a book? It's just and by the way, that's why I told you to call. Like, if she wrote you that means you were speaking by text. I do not want you to make hard phone calls by email or text. That's where you lose. You're going to lose a deal by having tough conversations through text and email. Okay. That's not how you do it, because if it's a tough conversation, I need them to hear me. I need to hear my friendliness and my tone, and I need to let them know that I'm here to work, and I can't sell that over an email. I can't sell that over a text. So you get that written to you when you don't make the phone call. So in other words, if that happened again, I would be like, no matter how hard they are, we like, let's say some, 30-year in the business lady named Barbara who's got a raspy voice because she's been spoken for 30 years or whatever. I'd be like, hey, Barbara, how are you? Like this and that. Hey, listen, I know you've already talked to the seller, but man, my buyers really actually, love this house. And, I would just love a shot to have a shot. I know you don't have anything signed right now. Is there any way I could have a shot at putting in an offer that would win? And be like, well, I can always talk to the seller. Yeah, I understand. But out of curiosity, like, you think they would tell me what it would take to win? Because like I would really love to submit what they wanted. That's how, or a variation of something like that, where you're not coming off like pushy or, hey, tell me this information. You got a chance to build some rapport. You got a chance to give them your tone, your energy, and let them know, hey, I'm not a pushy guy, man. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this thing. I want the best for your seller too, and best for my buyer. So now suddenly we have some kind of emotional connection. So I don't want you to make those type of things through written. So yeah, there's going to be some people that say that always, but I don't get it that often. I'll be honest with you, because I start the rapport building from the minute that I first talk to an agent, right? The minute I first talked to an agent about submitting an offer, I have called them on the phone, right? Because I would have had to call them in order to find out about if there were any other offers, right? That's what we teach you guys. You're never going to make an offer without talking to the listing agent. And when I say talking to the listing agent, I mean talking to the listing agent. I don't mean typing an email to the listing agent. So that's where people lose deals and they don't even know they lose them, right? Because they're kind of skirting I don't feel like talking to them, or I don't want to have that conversation. No, that's how I control a deal from the very first second. Is I need to make a connection with this agent, let them know I'm a real person with a nice voice and great tone, and I'm here to give you a winning offer type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So when I start that way, guess what? When something does come in through email anymore, we got a relationship built. She knows who it's coming from, and guess what? I use BombBomb a lot with my stuff too. So now I talk to them on the phone. Now I send them a follow-up BombBomb, and now they're seeing my face. It's the closest thing you're going to have in a relationship with an agent. So I find that a lot of agents blow up deals because they're avoiding that personal connection. You got to have a personal connection with your client, and you got to have one with the agent. They control your check. How many times an agent blown up your damn deal, right? Like they control your check. So I'm going to be besties with whoever I'm talking to. So yeah, that's one of the samples of Victoria that I heard. And I want you guys also to get creative. So same thing, let's say you're working with Home First Lending, and this, I believe I was talking to Dylan about a deal, right? And he said, oh, I talked with Patrick, and Patrick said that the DTI was too high and the credit was too low, couldn't get it done, that kind of thing. And he's like, and he called me up to ask me, how can I keep this person in the fold until they get those things rectified. Like, how can I make sure she doesn't spend the cash that because apparently the lady did a cash out refinance on her current home and she was buying a second home. And so my whole thing is always ask more questions, right? Like a lender might tell you, hey, DTI is too high, DTI is okay. Is there any way we can fix that? Like what could I do to help this kind of situation? You know what I'm saying? So actually, Zach, are you hearing me now? I saw you flash it.
Yeah, I hear everything.
Okay. Can you talk?
Yeah, I'm just sitting
All right.
in the car line.
So what are some questions?
what are some questions?
Let's go with that scenario.
Let's go with that scenario there.
Are you hearing an echo, or is that
Are you hearing an echo, or is that just me?
You are
It's
hearing
my
it.
car. It's my car.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes, I think. Yes.
Sorry about
Okay. So let's give that scenario. So let's say they're talking to to a loan officer, and the loan officer says, hey, looks like the DTI is too high, right? What are some things that we could do to fix that problem? Like
what was
her
scenario? What was she trying to do?
Let's not even give them a scenario. Let's say she's trying to buy a home. Let's just give them a regular generic scenario. And let's just say a loan officer says the DTI is too high. If I was an agent, what question could I ask, or what could we figure out to maybe rectify that problem?
Well, it really depends on the scenario, if it's an investment or a primary purchase. I mean, it's just a general statement. I mean, as an LO, if I'm dealing with DTI, I'm asking myself a couple questions like, are there any debts that could be paid off? Is there anything that maybe somebody else pays for that they're not responsible for? Do they have the ability to get a cosigner temporarily? I mean, there's just so many questions to ask.
Right. But that's the questions I'm talking about, right? And that's what I'm trying to get them to, Zach, because they don't even know what, like, hey,
a lot of people, funny enough, don't even ask if you have a cosigner. Like, they just take things for face value.
Right. So let's go back a little for new guys. So DTI is debt to income, right? This is the amount of, this is the percentage that is combined with whatever your mortgage payment is going to be plus whatever monthly debts you pay, right? So let's say I make $5,000 a month and my mortgage is $2,000 a month. And then I have $500 in, credit card, minimum payments, my car payment, whatever. That means that I have $2,000 for the mortgage, $500 for other payments. I have $2,500 of the $5,000 that I make every month is my DTI. It's 50% DTI. Why? Because that includes my mortgage and my other debts. Okay. So let's say they say, Zach, the loan officer says, hey, 50% DTI is too high for the program that you have to be in. You have to be at 45% DTI in order to qualify. Okay. So, hey, what could we do? Well, there's a couple of things you could do. Zach already mentioned a few of them. How about you ask if they have a cosigner? Hey, if we can't get rid of any of those debts, do you have somebody else that can go on this loan with you that also makes income and they could help you buy this property? Maybe a parent, maybe a relative, maybe an aunt, maybe an uncle, whatever the case may be, right? That's one way. Some people don't even ask that. Some people are like, oh, you don't qualify. Sorry, bye. You know what I'm saying? Okay, how about that $500 worth of additional debt, right? That car payment or that minimum credit card payment. What if you found out that they were paying $50 a month in a minimum credit card payment, but their balance was only like $300 and they were just paying that off at $50 a month? I could take $50 out of their debt to income ratio by simply telling them, pay off that credit card, that $300 credit card with a $50 minimum payment. What the hell are you doing? Let's pay that off. I just got you $50 more that I can help you qualify with. Right. So those are the kind of things that you could do. Another thing you could potentially do if they had some cash in the bank would be potentially buy down their interest rate, right? They could buy down the interest rate in order to make their interest rate lower, which makes their mortgage payment lower, which means their DTI is lower, right? So I know some of that stuff is, maybe new to you guys, or for some people, it might just be elementary to you guys. But the main concept here is that I never accept no for an answer. I just don't accept it. I have to talk to a lot more people before I'm convinced that a deal is dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to ask more. Ask Bob, ask Zach, do some Googling, like ask your lender. These are all your
You guys
partners.
can call me on loan denials. I mean, I don't doubt that, an LO has ever not thought outside the box on a situation. I mean, there's times where I catch stuff. If you've got a inclination or a feeling that there might be something there, hit me up. If I'm in front of a computer, I'll pull up the file, I'll look at it, and I'll make a suggestion to my team. I mean, it's just like you guys are learning deal structure right now from Bobby on the real estate side. I know we're touching a bit on mortgage right now. You just don't know what you don't know. So some of my LOs are more experienced than others. So never feel like you're calling me because you get a denial or an LO tells you something can't be done. You could hit me up. I don't care. I want to close more deals too.
Yeah. And by the way, if you don't know what to ask, just ask the loan officer or ask the person at the title company. Hey, if there was a solution, what would it be? What could we do? Is there something else that I'm not seeing? Because sometimes, even they get busy and they're just like you guys want to work on the people who are the easiest to convert, right? So sometimes it's just like, hey, this is just where they're at. And you just ask one more question and suddenly they're like, well, actually, now that I think about it, we could do this, we could do this, we could try this, and sometimes they even assume that you already know those things, right? So just make sure you always ask those questions. Can you guys give me any examples that maybe have happened to you that you maybe have been working on that you're like, man, I might have been able to save that, or if I would have asked a couple extra questions?
I actually want to throw something in there because my listing for the condo was supposed to close on the 12th and it just closed last Friday. And I really thought I was going to lose this deal. This was like 2 weeks delayed. And the issue was with HOA. They had 2 liens open and one of them couldn't get resolved, but we explained it to the buyers that it was something simple. We were just waiting on some back orders and it would be erased once it's completed. So we had them sign a document that would move forward. The difficult one was a contractor that never did work but put a lien. And the title company called him and said, could you just get a notary signing that you didn't complete any work, that this should be removed? He literally told the title company he was too busy. He was like, I won't be able to get it for another 2 weeks. So I called him up and I said, can we just get a simple letter? He's like, sure. Never sent me the letter 2 days later. So I called him and I said, I'm sending a notary to you. I looked it up. I was ready to pay for a notary to go to his job for him to sign because I was like, I'm not losing this deal over this. He never got back to me. So I was like, okay, what else can I do to get him to get this paper? So I drafted up a letter for him, sent it through SkySlope for him to sign and sent it over to him. He signed it within 5 minutes, sent it to the title company and they're like, this is all we needed. So it was one of those things where I literally sat down and had to think of what can I do? What can I do? I tried a notary, it didn't work. What's next? Wrote up a letter, that worked. So it was one of those things of like thinking out of the box on what I could do to save this deal because I was not going to let it go just because he was too busy. You're not too busy to sign a paper. Like I'm going to find a way. If I have to drive to your job, get you to sign this paper, something. So I felt really proud of myself because I was able to do that just by thinking out of the box.
Yo, let me tell you something. Well, kudos to you and thank you so much for sharing because this is what you guys need to hear. That's the kind of tenacity you got to have in this game. I could tell you countless stories like that, Gil and myself. I mean, Gil will tell you he'd been 3 a.m. helping somebody move out because they were trying to tell him that they didn't have a mover. I've helped people move shit out of their house. I've driven the way that I found my first mortgage. I worked for a mortgage company back when I was like 22 years old. I worked for them for like 6 months. I didn't have any training. I was going broke. And the reason I met a guy in a different company, and it was because I drove to the lender, right? So the lender was based out of Maitland, and I could not get the underwriter to pick up the phone. And I literally showed up in the underwriter's desk, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Bobby. I'm the guy who's been calling you," that kind of shit. And the reason that I found my next business partner after that was because an older gentleman saw me in there, and he's like, "Hey, son, you're doing the right things. You're coming in here. You going to see these underwriters face to face, put a face to a name, let them know you're not just another number, man. And he's like, you're doing the right stuff. He's like, by the way, you want to meet the president of my company? I think you guys would get along really great. And that president of that company ended up being my next business partner, right? So you get a lot of stuff when you shift, when you take action, a lot of other good stuff comes from it that you don't even know about, right? And I just love the fact I was about to say, I was like, I hope you're gonna say you wrote the letter for him, but so what did she do? So Kendra, what is it that she did to actually resolve that problem? What was the issue with this gentleman, and how did she resolve it?
She took initiative, and she, just like you said, she didn't take no for an answer. She thought
What was
outside
his
of the
problem? What was his problem?
He just, I mean, I think that because he just didn't, I don't want to say that it didn't have anything to do with him, but he just wasn't, what is the word that I'm looking for? He didn't have the
Incentive.
Word. Yeah,
Incentive.
exactly.
You didn't have the incentive. Not only that, that was part of the problem, but
Right.
the guy expressed an ability to want to do it. The thing was,
Right.
is there was too many
have
steps.
time.
It was, he didn't even want a notary, random notaries showing up. So what
Right.
she realized was, this is an ease problem. I need to make it so fucking easy for this guy to get me what I want, which is how you guys need to be thinking. Why am I putting more steps that need to be there? He doesn't need to write that letter. I'll write the fucking letter. Matter of fact, I like the idea of writing the letter because it says everything I need it to say. Okay. I'm going to hand deliver electronically this thing. So he goes, boop, complete signing. And because she did that, it got done. Okay.
In 5 minutes too.
In 5 minutes after she'd been doing this for days on end. Right.
Mhm.
So what are some other things that maybe you guys thought, man, maybe there was a way to save that deal, or maybe I could have asked a few more questions and save that? What, anything like that come up? Some of you guys have done some good amount of deals now.
I'm honestly still in the whole process of trying to figure it out. I know I called you on my way to vacation and tried to save a deal. I'm still trying to save the deal. I'm well, yeah, literally CPR. Like it hasn't been easy at all, and it's honestly been mainly on my seller, but I'm trying my best to like think outside of the box and give solutions, but either the seller isn't agreeable to it, the buyers can't do it, the buyer's agent isn't willing to do it. So I haven't been able to save it yet. I do see light at the end of the tunnel, but
What's the light?
Lord Jesus, as long as the buyer's agent is willing to reduce her commission to 2% from 3%, we'll be able to close.
Okay, so let's set up the scenario for them real quick. So you're the listing agent, okay, and you put you listed this property, honestly a little higher than you wanted to, right?
Correct.
Why did you do that?
They were adamant about it, and the amount of work that they did to the property, I honestly was holding my breath that it would end up working out, especially because there's other properties in the area that are on the market around that price. So I was hoping that they would sell before ours got appraised. If I'm not, I'm just gonna be honest.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I want you to be honest. So ideally, guys, we don't want to overprice a property, right? You want to go with your gut, right? And regardless, even if you undershoot, the result should be more attention, which is what you want, right? So, it's overpricing that'll kill you, right? So in this particular case, she actually didn't screw up because she got an offer for the price she wanted. So that means that the market was willing to pay for it, that much for the property. However, the appraisal didn't come out. So the appraisal came in $15,000 below. Okay, so going back to this appraisal thing, right? It came in $15,000 below, and the seller got mad because they think technically the house is 3 bedrooms, but it's not 3 bedrooms. It was intended to be 3 bedrooms, so they never put up the extra wall and made the extra room. So this lady is like, no, it's, and so she's having a tough time. She's got a bit of a delusional seller, right? And the seller's like, well, if that's the case, then I'm just gonna pay to put up the wall and build the rest of the room and do all that kind of stuff, right? And so Annie brought this to me, and I always get the backstory because I want to know how irrational somebody's being, not because I'm going to try to convince them the other way, but I just want to know how deep into their story, right? So, they've got the property. Remember, once you've spent all the time to put a property on the market and the seller's gone through the process and we've got a contract, remember the natural inclination, the easiest path is to close, right? Annie actually thinks that it's probably worth the appraisal, what the appraisal is saying. You know what I mean? So it's not a bad deal, but the seller thinks so because obviously they had one number in mind and now they don't. So I have to take all that into consideration. And when I speak to the seller, what I'm here to do is not lecture them into thinking my way. You will lose damn near 100% of the time doing it that way. You first got to say, hey, I certainly understand your frustration. Let's align. We're going to align first. Yes, I certainly understand your frustration. Look, we had the property out 340. Obviously, somebody was willing to pay for it. The issues obviously come up with this appraiser because he's not counting it as a 3-bedroom. Okay. Now you've expressed your desire to potentially do the work. So what I told Annie to do is go ahead and find out what the solution would cost. Hey, if they're talking about putting up walls and all that stuff, hey, look, you know what? Annie's kind of fortunate. Her dad's a handyman. He knows what it would cost to do. So I said, talk to your dad, figure out what the cost would be to do something like this, blah, blah, blah. And don't fight her on it. Say, hey, look, so I've spoken to the buyer's agent and here's what we can do. Here's the solution that I found because I want to make sure that you feel comfortable moving forward. Okay. So obviously now sometimes what I'll do is I'll remind them again what's happening so they understand. So obviously the appraiser is not going to count it as a 3-bedroom because technically it's not a 3-bedroom, right? And so he's gonna evaluate what it's worth right now, which to be quite honest with you, for the market and for what I've seen out there for that kind of bedroom, I understand. But if we want to sell it for 15 grand more, because if we want to either have it reappraised and see if this buyer will pay that amount for it, right? Or put it back on the market, well, we're going to have to put that wall up. So I talked to my dad, it's going to cost you $7,000 to do that. So you got to put up the drywall, the electrical, you're going to have to put in a closet, you got to put in the door. So it's about $7,000 to do that, but we can do it. Okay. Now at that point, what I could do is I'm going to try to convince the buyer to extend this contract and wait for us to do this. Then at that point, what we're going to do is we're going to have to pay for another appraisal. So obviously the buyer paid for an appraisal already and they believe it's worth what it's worth. And so does the appraiser. So if we want another appraisal, then that's another 500 there. So we're about 7,500, right? And at that point, we can see if at that point it will get appraised at the price you want. And then, the buyer will be willing to do it. That's if the buyer's willing to do that, right? So what am I doing? I'm showing them the complexity of this process. I'm showing them how much it costs. I'm showing them all that, but I'm not fighting them on it. I'm ready to pull your plan whenever you fucking want to, right? You want me to call my daddy right now? I'm gonna call my daddy right now and we're gonna spend $7,000 on that wall, right? We're gonna do that and we're gonna get this thing reappraised. Now we're rolling the dice a little bit when we get it reappraised because none of us know what it's gonna come out even with the third room, right? So we're gonna go do that and then we're gonna do that. Or right now we can move towards, obviously you always have the option to move towards closing, or we can tell them, hey, we can't agree on the price. We'll have them cancel the contract and we'll put it back on the market. And then we'll hope we get a cash buyer so we don't run into the same financing issue again. These are my solutions to your problem, not what, hey, wisen up. This shit ain't worth what you think it's worth. You know what I mean? Like that ain't ever going to work. Right.
Like also too, what I mentioned to Annie was like pull numbers so they can see like, okay, if we go through with this contract, this is how much you're going to be netting. But after you do all the remodels, you're only going to be netting 2,000. Is it worth spending all that time and all that money just for that extra $2,000? And show them the difference. Like, okay, this is what you'll be netting without the hassle. And this is what you'll be netting with the hassle. Is it worth it?
Absolutely. And thank you for mentioning that. And that's like, can't be left unsaid is if you can show, the only little caveat I would do is don't even ask them, does it make sense? I'm just going to give them the menu of options with the numbers on the table, but you got to do the numbers, right? So after you speak to your dad, okay, cool. So if we sell it for this, that means that really you're going to be netting about maybe $7,500 more if the appraisal comes out where we need it to be. But if the appraisal comes out only $7,500 more, then we will have netted nothing on that. So I'm going to give them every scenario of what could happen, right? And then you say which way do you want to go? Because hey, at the end of the day, I'm willing to go wherever they want to go if that's what they want to do. Now, if they ask me, if they're like, hey, well, what do you think I should do? I'd be like, look, can I be frank with you? You know, when I initially went to price this property, I wanted to price it where they appraised it. You know, I'm like, I know I felt how adamant you were about listing it at this price, you know, and I went and did it. Well, guess what? Honestly, somebody was willing to offer you the price, but the market, when it comes to financing, which is most buyers, the lender's not going to lend over what it appraises for. So, you know, your only option is to wait to get a cash buyer. And I can tell you that could be risky. We don't know when that's going to happen. We don't know if that's going to happen, right? One thing I can
cash offers. Sorry to cut you off. I've had cash offers. I've had 2.
For that price?
No, way like 100,000 less. And I, of course, had to present them to her, and I did. And she was like, nope, absolutely not. And
Right.
I reminded her of that. Like we had cash offers. So it's something that's gonna come up, but they weren't even willing to pay anywhere close to what you have it listed for. I didn't tell her that part, but
Yeah. So, but that doesn't mean, hey, look, we can wait for cash buyer. Like it's all on how you present it. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you really want to save this deal, this lady likes you.
I think she's starting not to like me so much because she's not getting what she wants.
Okay.
So I don't think it has to do with really liking me. She's just very upset with it, and
okay.
Nothing I say is working.
So I think you need to go see her. I think you need to do exactly what Victoria said. We need to put the numbers together. Let's put those deals. Let's put the cash offer deals together. Prepare to present a case like you would if you're a lawyer, right? If you're a lawyer, you're going to show up with your folders. You're going to show up with your stuff, and you're going to lay out the case. Say, hey, so the call would be like, what's her name?
Mrs. B.
Ms. B. Hey, Mrs. B. Hey, so I've been thinking a lot about this, and I've got some solutions for you. I'm like, they're a little tough to explain over the phone. I want to show you what I've come up with. Is there a good time we can sit down? Because I think that we can find a way to make you happy. Oh, cool. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Great. You show there tomorrow at 2 p.m. Be like, okay, so I've heard everything you said, and I want to make everything you say happen. Okay. So we know we listed the property here. Here's where the appraisal came out. Obviously, we have a willing and ready buyer ready to close. You always have the route to go that way, but let me show you what other options you could take. And so here's the option if you decide to do the wall, do this, do that, and here are some of the risks you'll be taking if you do that, right? We're risking that the appraisal is still not going to come out, right? You know, we're risking right now that the buyer even wants to do this, right? They might not want to extend this, so we'll lose this buyer, so we're gonna have to put it on the market and find a new buyer, okay? And then at the end, like, and then you know, we could take it off the market. So if they don't want to move forward with it, you don't want to move forward with it, I have no problem. We can cancel this deal, right? I'll just tell them that we have to cancel it. If they can't come up with the 15 grand, we'll put it back on the market, and we'll hope that we find a cash buyer that's willing to pay this much for it, okay? The risk for that is we don't know if that person ever is going to come. And even if a cash buyer comes, we don't know if they're going to offer you what you want in the first place, as seen by here's the 2 offers. Remember those 2 offers? I don't know if we're going to get what we want for it anyway. So these are the options and these are the risks. And I want to make you happy. So you tell me what you want to do, and I'm here for you. I'm gonna work for you. And let's see what she says, right? And you know, and then if you come back, well, like, well, what do you think I should do? And I'm like, great. Now my now the gates open. I'm like, you know, well, here's the deal. I think it's really risky here. This is what my honest thoughts about it. Honestly, the best route to go in this particular case. You know, I always tell people sometimes your disappointment is the gap between expectation and what's real. Okay. You're thinking you're losing 15 grand, right? I actually never believed that, right? I believe that the true value of this property as it stands is this value. I believe that from the beginning, but you were adamant about putting it here. So you're not losing. It's the difference between expectation and what's true. So I know it feels bad, but the reality is this isn't a 3-bedroom property, right? A 3-bedroom by law requires you to have walls and a closet. So in order for us to do that, now you're taking the risk of investing money out of your pocket for the chance that this is going to get appraised for something different. And I honestly, not just as your agent, whatever, it only pays for me to sell this for higher. Okay. I don't win by selling this property for lower. It only helps me. Okay. I'm telling you this, if this was my house and I was doing it, I would go this route. I would sell this property for what it appraised for, or allow me. I don't know. Sometimes you guys don't push these buyers up against the wall enough. Maybe they have an extra couple grand. Can we get them a win? You know, can you go back to the buyer and say, hey, I know we're 15 grand different, but I feel like if I can at least get this lady a win, I can make this deal fucking work. Out of curiosity, would you be willing to at least put any amount over the appraised value? Don't even tell them the amount. Okay. So at least you know what you're working with. So when I talk to her, I'll be like, what if I were able to, okay, look, you already heard my opinion, but what if I were able to get them to come up at least a little bit, just to give you a little bit extra? You know, I know they can't do the whole thing, but if I can even just a little bit, just to get you something, would that help? Most of the time, I already know that because I already talked to the buyer. So if I have $5 grand to play with, I might say, what if I were to negotiate for $2,500 above? Would you say yes? Would you make this deal work? And if they say, yeah, $2,500, guess what? I'm gonna come back in a couple hours and say, I got bad news. I couldn't get you 2,500, but I got you 5,000. Now the client has won, even though they didn't get the initial thing that they thought they were going to get, right? These are the games that you gotta play in the game, because you got to save people from themselves, right? So I always usually work the solution in the back end, and I already kind of have it solved already. But the way that I play it is I understand that whoever I'm working with needs to feel like they won. Same thing if I'm negotiating with the other side, the other agent. If I can get them a win, especially if it's not a big deal to my seller or to my buyer, that's all they need to know. They need to get a win. They need to feel like they didn't get taken, even though it's all bullshit, right? They didn't get taken, but in their mind, we got to respect what they believe. Because the minute we start lecturing them into what we believe, we lose, because they're like, you're not hearing me. You're not understanding me. You don't understand why I'm pissed, right? So that's why we always align first. Hey, I understand your frustration. I understand what it feels like to, think you're going to get this and not get it, right? And so I want to work the solution for you. And good thing is, I think I got something for you. I want to lay it out for you and go that route. Tell me next week's blessing on call night, you will be telling me you saved that deal.
I will.
Okay. You guys got any questions about any of that? That all makes sense? Good. Okay, so I've got 3 commitments for sync. We've got the call night. Guys, did you guys see my invitation for the movie premiere? Okay, so
I'm going.
Okay, cool. I know there was 3 of you that registered. So I just want to make sure you guys all know about it. It'll be a really cool deal. My buddy's awesome. He's covering our tickets to go. And it's a really cool kind of inspirational documentary, which is awesome. So if you guys want to go to that, that's this Friday, 6 p.m. It's going to be in one of the theaters downtown. And who knows, maybe we'll make it a social, what do you think, Andy? Can we do it?
I love that idea.
Okay. It's fantastic. All right, guys, have a great rest of the day. Appreciate y'all.
Bye.
All right, take care.